discussion to have about mumble rap, and I was actually kind of talking about sort of where I think it comes from, why people have issues with it. Now, why am I talking about rap and hip hop? Well, because a lot of the people that I connect with the most, I connect with a lot of young people, and a lot of them are young black men, many of whom I think are probably just looking for, what is missing in the community, which is mentorship. Studies kind of show that actually even animals need mentorship. Even other mammals like elephants and, gorillas and dolphins and whatever, they need mentorship. So, for us as black people, one of the things that we lost in the community, the reason the community's kind of in disarray in certain areas is because you don't have any male mentors. You don't have any black men around kind of, holding court, telling the truth, putting it on the line to be honest with these guys and really letting them know, what's up in life, how life works, how the game works, how to get to the top of the game, how to win the game. Because a lot of the older black men they have around didn't win the game. They lost the game. A lot of the men in our community, unfortunately, when they've gone head to head in this battle against white supremacy and against the white man, they did not win. And so I think that those of you out here, those black men who have won the game, should share the game. You should break down the game. You should give people a playbook so these young guys don't go out here and do stupid stuff and mess themselves up. Now, I was talking to you guys this morning. Some of you were here this morning. If you were here this morning, let me know. And also, if you're on social media, make sure you take a second to hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, the hearts, whatever it is that you can hit to show appreciation to what we're trying to do here, show respect to the game of black excellence and black power. I don't want to call it black supremacy, but I do believe that black people should be at the head of the curve, not behind the curve. And also, the other thing I wanted to mention was, in case you guys are curious, maybe you're not curious, but I just finished running a race. I was telling you guys this morning that my goal, as part of my long-term goal of weight loss, to get in shape and all that, I've been running these road races and doing these 5Ks and 10Ks, and I'm proud to say that I ran another 5K today. It was cold as hell. I was freezing my ass off. I was tired as hell, but I beat my best time by I think I took 7 minutes off my best time, which is like crazy, right? Which tells you how horrible my original time was. But I took 7 minutes off my best time, and I'm feeling good, lean, clean, and sugar free, and all that other stuff. All right. So anyway, all right. So let me get to this conversation on mumble rap. Now earlier we were talking about, this. What sparked this whole series string of thoughts was I saw this beef. Everybody beefing. All these dudes beefing on Twitter and all that. It was a beef between Bow Wow and there's a guy out of Ohio named Trippie Redd. I've never heard of Trippie Redd before. I don't think anybody heard of Trippie Redd before, like 6 months ago. Apparently, they kind of, go out and these record labels go and they find, some guy in the hood that they want to make super famous really quick. And then next thing you know, he's kind of living in a different life, in a life that could possibly put him in terrible situations, get him sent to prison. In fact, one of these rappers, I forgot which one it was, one of these dudes, had a back and forth with, somebody help me remember, I can't keep up with the beefs, man. I've been following these hip hop beefs since Biggie Pac, and but there was some guy that was beefing with another rapper, and he's facing like 30, 40 years in prison on weapons charges and all that. I can't remember the guy's name. It was because the guy from All Hip Hop, I ran into Chuck Creekman, who runs All Hip Hop, and he was talking about that beef and how it got into like gunplay, guys shooting at each other. I cannot remember who the rappers were, but either way, it was. Let me see if anybody in here remembers who the rappers were. Let me see here. Did you see the statement LeBron made, and he got flack for saying the same thing? No, Teresa, I don't know what statement LeBron made, so tell me what his statement was. So anyway, so it was this sort of beef between Trippie Redd and Bow Wow, and and I'll tell you, when you talk about all these, this mumble rap, it's kind of interesting because it's not really rap. It's not really what rap and hip hop really is, right? We know that, right? It's something different. I think they should literally just like claim something else. They call it something else because they ain't really it's really kind of like mumbling to a really great beat. Like the mumble rappers have it locked down when it comes to the best beats. Their beats are the best, right? That's all they got. They got beat. They basically have like what I call toxic nursery rhymes, where it's like some guy just kind of, whatever. You make certain noises, and you're kind of like barking and yapping and whatever, and then you put a really good beat below it that people would have liked back when they were like 5 years old, like nursery rhyme type beats, and that's what wins. What gets mumble rap over the hump is pretty much two things: the beat and the imagery. The imagery, right? The imagery comes out of a textbook. It comes out of a corporate textbook, right? I mean, I'm serious. Like some of y'all may not agree. I don't know. Some people may think that there's actually lyrical content there, and there's a little bit there. Like a guy will literally say a bunch of string of words that don't really even make any sense, and then he'll say, like bang, and so you understand what bang means. Bang means I'll shoot your ass, or whatever, right? Like he'll do something that's like somewhat familiar, or say something that relates to money, but it'll be like one word, and that sort of adds some sort of context to really what was just kind of a bunch of sounds, right? Now, is that bad music? I can't say that it's bad music. I'm not going to say it's garbage or that it's bad music, because clearly somebody likes it, because, these videos go up on YouTube. They get 20 million views. So somebody likes it, right? For the same reasons that I might like a song that's in Japanese, because the melody's nice. Like, there were these singers that were from France. I don't know who this group was, but they played this song and they were like, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but it sounds good. It sounds so good, right? So a lot of times that's how I feel when I listen to mumble rap. Because you know me, I got a PhD. I can't turn off my brain, so I analyze everything, especially stuff that's going into the brains of our children. Like if you ever want to really understand how white supremacist brainwashing works, you got to go study psychology and study the subconscious mind. That's how they convince you to oppress yourself. Is they use media to give you subconscious imagery about yourself that is toxic, self-destructive, and really genocidal. It's really genocidal. And the reason why would I say this? Am I saying this because I'm trying to be a preachy old man and to tell these young people that they can't do what they want to do? No, I'm not doing that at all. People can do what they want. But if you really are intelligent enough to take a moment and pay attention to the lyrical content and the imagery in the songs. The imagery is pretty much government corporatized white supremacist propaganda. It's propaganda. Propaganda is when you're giving somebody a consistent message that is going to lead to certain behavior and certain perceptions and certain beliefs and certain lifestyles. You're promoting a culture. It's like if I want to promote a culture that's healthy, like that gets people to eat healthy food, then I would just repeat over and over again. Make sure you eat healthy. Make sure you eat your vegetables. Make sure you drink your milk, right? And I just repeat it, and eventually it sinks in. Well, think about this. Pay attention now. In mumble rap, I want you to go look at one of the songs. Watch one of these videos that's out here. If you're a little older and you're not into that, like, go check out some of the videos. And I want you to analyze. I want you to look for these things. And young people who have sense, who really, are open-minded enough to not just write this off as the rantings of some old man. I want you to also think carefully about what they're putting in your brain, what they're giving you. I want you to look for these images in the songs. It comes from corporate America. White people own these record labels. White people are giving you these messages. White people are doing this. They're using a black messenger so that you will open up your mind to receive the message. If they send it to you through a white boy, you might not be as inclined to receive it as you are if they send it through some young dude that's tatted up that looks like he's from your hood. It's almost the same way when they want to murder and kill a bunch of rats. They'll poison one of the rats from the family, one of the lead rats, and he'll come in and he'll spread the poison to the rest of the family because the family receives the poison or they receive the virus because it's coming from a familiar face. So ultimately, you have the virus of genocidal brainwashing that is being transmitted to the black community from racist white corporations. These corporations, these record labels are not owned by black people. Most of them are owned by whites and Jews. And they remember, mind you, pay attention now. You got to always be thoughtful about Anybody who will give you something that they wouldn't give to their own family, that's somebody you got to watch out for. That's the motherfucker you got to be careful about, because what they're saying to you is, what I'm giving you, it's good for you, but I ain't touching that shit. I ain't smoking that shit. Like the original, I'm gonna tell you like this, and we'll talk more about this in a minute. But just for example, one of the many genocidal marketing tactics that are used in the music is there's almost always a reference to drug addiction. Almost always a reference to drug addiction. Watch a lot of these videos, like I watch Trippie Redd's videos, and I'm not dissing Trippie Redd or Kodak Black and all these guys that are out here, but watching the videos, there's almost always a reference to drug addiction. Now, the difference between, I think, maybe some of the young people and the older people, I don't know, is that we've seen like what the crack era did, right? We saw like what a crackhead look like, dusty, dirty, white lips, begging for money, your family's ashamed of you, you're looking like shit, don't nobody respect you, right? None of us want to be a part of that. But I think younger people think that the Molly, the Percocet, and, whatever it is, the whatever kind of white powder people might be putting up their nose, is they think it's cool. They think it's okay. They think that that's what it is because they're hearing their favorite artists that they look up to promoting this, marketing this the same way you market chewing gum, or the same way opioids were marketed to white people. Now you got all these white people dying from heroin overdoses. Now you got all these white people that can't get up and go to work because they started taking OxyContin and oxycodone and oxy whatever, oxy heroin, whatever the hell they putting out here, right? So same thing for black people. You got a lot of your young kids in the hood that have Molly Percocet being promoted to them, and a lot of them don't understand, like when you are especially as a black man, black women too, when you're a woman and you are high on drugs all the time, then somebody ends up Bill Cosby in your ass. You end up in situations where next thing you know, you're getting raped. Next thing you know, your kids are looking at you like you ain't shit. Next thing you know, you're making a bunch of bad decisions for the men. You're getting high and drunk all the time. Next thing you know, you're in prison for 80 years for something you did while you were high. Do you know how many people are in prison for things that they don't even remember doing? Like, do you know how many people are in prison, like, because they took a puff of some special weed and they didn't know what was in it, and next thing you know, they went on a killing spree? Like, that happens all the time. Nobody talks about that, though. Like, you don't hear you'll never hear hip-hop artists really tell you about the other side of the glamorous stuff. And that's why so many people hate me. It's because I'm the guy that comes along and says, let's think about that for a little bit. I want you to think, and people don't want to think. That's why if I were just promoting something glamorous and cool, that's why, a mumble rapper will always have more views on his videos than a guy like me. Because I'm the guy that comes along and says, that shit don't make no motherfucking sense. Like, that's going to kill your ass. Like, and you're going to kill your children too, man. You're going to kill your mama with that. Like, why would you do that? Like, I'm that guy, right? Whereas, the people that make it look cool, those are the ones that people get excited about, because nobody wants bad news. Nobody wants to do hard work. Nobody wants to plan ahead. Everybody sort of wants to just live in the moment and then let the consequences fall and then feel sorry for themselves after it's over with, like somebody else did it to them. So anyway, so I'm not really here for everybody. I'm really here for the people that want to kind of understand all this and how this toxic, genocidal, brainwashing, white supremacist, messaging kind of works. So basically, when it comes to the drugs and all that stuff being heavily promoted in the music, you even have rappers like Future, who's old enough to know better. I mean, he's like 30-something years old now. It's kind of tacky and trifling that he'll literally make a song with a lyric. The chorus was Molly Percocet, Molly Percocet, Molly Percocet, Molly Percocet. If you understand the way psychology works and the way brainwashing of the subconscious mind actually operates, if you simply repeat something over and 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 over again, it sinks into your brain. It sinks so deep in your subconscious that you don't even know it's there. When I and the reason I understand this very well is because the reason I was able to be successful in my life in terms of getting my PhD and doing the things that I was able to accomplish when I had no help was I did the exact opposite. I brainwashed myself by constantly repeating over and over and over and over and over again messages that would empower me, messages that would make me feel strong, messages that would make me feel focused, messages that would make me want to be educated, messages that made me believe I was Superman, I could do anything. And it worked. My confidence would rise because all I knew about myself was that I can't be stopped. that I'm one of the greatest black men in the history of the world, and that is the way I.